Welcome back to Hunter's Entertainment on Twitch.tv. My name is Noxweiler Burf, and I am your game master and guide through a dark and challenging world of survival horror. Tonight, as we do every Tuesday evening, we're playing Outbreak Undead. If you're unfamiliar with this game, allow me to illuminate you, to walk you through the shadows of the human spirit and to face nightmares that await us if we're brave enough to look closely at the darkness within each of us. This is a zombie survival simulation. As you can imagine, this game is not for the faint of heart, but I, as the game master, have already confirmed consent with each and every one of my players. Our lines and veils have been very carefully drawn, and we have safety protocols in place to assist and protect everyone at the table tonight. We ask you for your consent as well. We encourage you to listen to the content warning very closely, read what our moderators place into chat, and give them your undying respect. While it is my goal to scare you tonight, I would never want to hurt you. We are going to be walking down some dark corridors. This game does offer us all opportunity to explore dark themes and to shine a light on the human condition in the safe confines of our imagination. However, that takes bravery. It takes bravery and the support of each and every one of us, you included. You see, friend, not every character at this table is being played with the same objectives and motivations. Some are working directly against one another, and others, through their own choices and previous roleplay, are in communication with dangerous outside forces. Anything could happen. This apocalypse and the survival of these characters is a day-to-day struggle. Food, water, security, shelter, these are not guaranteed things. The dead walk and roam the world. They own what we have left behind. There are no magical swords to be discovered, no valiant knights or castle walls to hide behind. The dangers in this game were a face of a world that died long ago. This is the echo and dying gasp of a civilization that was halted dead in its tracks by a horrible virus. Still, in the greatest darkness, hope burns the brightest. We want to show you that flicker of hope tonight. I would like to thank the entire Hunters team, including JB Jara and Alex Hillman, for helping to make this campaign happen. Without them, our story will not have gone 52 sessions strong. We have grown, and we now have you with us, and we're so very thankful. A full year of survival horror. We've told many stories together. We've seen many characters come and go. We've seen the evolution of our Outbreak campaign. And as I have announced here previously, all good things must come to an end. But in the end, I think you'll find, especially where Outbreak Undead is concerned, new things often rise in their place. If you haven't already, we would entreat you to join in on the Scry program provided by Foreteller. They're in the panels below, right here on Twitch, and you're going to see some very, very interesting evolutions in the next few weeks. As it stands, you can already become a survivor yourself. You can take on the role of that survivor, and you can help to divert resources and goods to where you think they are most needed. Make no difference at all in your choices. Choose carefully and know that the difference between life and death is in your hands. The choices that you make are linked to the settlements of the Rag and Bone universe. You, very shortly, will be able to choose factions directly and affect the map for all of the settlements as you earn resources and influence in a very unique minigame that will directly affect our story. But meanwhile, there is a danger that has arisen among the settlements of the Pen region. A group that has sought a number of our survivors for unknown reasons. Some of them have stepped willingly into their arms. Others continue to fight against them. Tonight, we will begin the path towards that resolution and see what happens next. Our tireless Undead moderators are in the chat and prepared to help you with any questions that you might have. We ask that you support their efforts. If you enjoy this content, as always, we ask that you continue to make social media noise for us. Help us to grow our numbers and let others know that they can find us here on Twitch every single Tuesday, right here on Hunters Entertainment, providing you with the best in horror content all October long. Enough of all of that, however. Allow me to introduce to you our players in tonight's little nightmare. Michelle, welcome back. Would you like to tell everyone a little bit about what you do across the internet and who you'll be playing tonight?
Well, what I'm currently doing is I'm colluding? What's the word? I am scheming with chat right now about what to buy and scry, because I have all these points and I realize you're probably going to reset them once this month is over. So hey everyone, I'm buying Mystery Drop. Let's just hope that Mystery Drop is not Romero's. Get in there. Anyway.
It is a mystery drop.
Maybe it's good though. I don't know. Hi, I'm Michelle Wynn Bradley. You can find me here every Tuesday for now. I'm on hiatus from a lot of my other projects right now because I'm trying to take a sabbatical this month. It did not go super well because I already booked like 4 jobs, but that's all good stuff. Next week, you can see me and a bunch of people that you might know at the University of Wisconsin Stout doing a live D&D show on stage at Wednesday at 7 p.m. Those are all the details I know, but I'm going to Wisconsin next week and it's very exciting. I've never been there. Gonna eat all the cheese. And I think that's it for now. And you know what? Today I'm playing Faith. I was out last week, so thankfully Nox and did my character as an NPC, and I heard some things went down the session before that. Basically what you've seen, the arc that Faith has gone through is that she was really angry about her brother with good reason, and then just sort of had to come to terms with, like, you know, revenge really won't get anything back for her, and it makes more sense to keep the people that she knows close to her as opposed to trying to kill them. A couple things going on there, and then with Achira just deciding not to, just asking for the truth and just accepting what people say around her is a new thing. So that's where Faith is mentally. Physically, I believe we're fighting another Romero. We'll see.
We will see. Melee, welcome back. Would you like to talk about everything that you're doing in the wider world and where people can find you? Also a little bit about the character that you will be playing tonight.
Sure. Hi there, everyone. I'm Melee Damage. You can find me on the internet at whatever the social media is, /Melee Damage. And do check that out. Got a lot of crazy stuff coming up for this month, especially in October. Lots of streams, lots of things to check out. Almost every single day. So that is the best place to keep updated on my stuff. Tonight I will be playing Rowan, who in last episode woke up in a cage with fire underneath her, and there was all of the Romeros got let out of her closet, so to speak. So ready to see where that goes, because that was just slightly terrifying.
And we've just begun that encounter. Luis, welcome back. Would you like to talk a little bit about everything that you're doing across the wide world and the character that you'll be playing tonight?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. I'm Luis Carrazzo. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, by just searching my name, LUISCARAZO, and I'll pop up. I'm an actor. I've got some TV shows that you guys can look up and watch. SWAT, NCIS were the shows that I did last season. There's another one that will be rolling out this coming season that I'll be able to talk about more when that happens. And some films doing festival circuits, and some about to come out as well. So I'll be able to update people on that if they're interested in that on my social media. And I play Lampwick. Lampwick is, well, last time I was here, I was not here last week. But the time before that, Lampwick was witnessing the people that have been his companions for quite some time in an arena fighting for their lives, which was put on by the Shepherds, the cult-like organization that Lampwick has joined out of survival, basically. Basically, initially talked his way into their fold, but then upon getting a closer look about what they do, realized that there's a lot of compelling stuff about them, like how they can control the Romeros and seem to have a different kind of insight into what this post-apocalyptic world is really about. But at the same time has been trying to walk the fine line of having this loyalty towards them and towards his companions that are not a part of the Shepherds. And, he stripped himself naked when a member of the Shepherds insisted on Lampwick revealing to them what his sins were, and he interpreted that as something more along the flesh and stripped himself, but then tentacles were vomiting out of his mouth. We'll see what other tentacles come out of other places from him. Who knows where we're going with that.
Yes. Last but not least, Sarah has returned once more. Sarah, thank you so much for coming back to us. We are honored by your presence. Would you like to talk about all the wonderful things that you do across the internet and the character that you'll be playing tonight?
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Sarah. I go by Sarah is Coffee everywhere on the internet. Same kind of deal. Type it into pretty much any social media. I'll be there. Most likely you can find me on The Welcome Inn, where I play every Friday as Restrada, an Oath of Redemption paladin. We also have something very special coming up on Sunday the 10th. We have an episode of Roundtable that I run, where I actually will be running a one-shot of Kids on Bikes. So that's really exciting. Don't miss out on that. And I'm going to be in a new campaign that is just starting, a horror campaign called Strange Hungers, over on a channel called Total Party Kiss that I'm super excited about. So go ahead and check that out. Tonight I'm going to be playing Polly Pocket, who is a wild child who is making her way through this maze of horrors with Achira and Faith, and is trying to find her friends after seeing one of them be eaten by somebody's ribcage. Managed to find one of her friends, Zippy, and is now trying to find the others with her new acquaintances.
Amazing. Again, thank you for being with us. And thank you all for being with us as well. We should get moving. The road is long. We have quite a ways yet to go. We'll be right back. The world ended on Monday, May 29th, 1995. The sky fell and the dead would not die. Civilization quickly collapsed and the sickness spread like lightning to even the most remote reaches of the world. They called it many things, but it started out simply as another round of the flu. It became something far worse. H195, commonly called the Legacy or the Reaper's Kiss, was deadly. And the dead became even more infectious as they passed away. At first, it seemed as though no one was immune to the airborne strain, but eventually it appeared that 0.01% of the population had a natural immunity. However, even those lucky souls couldn't withstand a concentrated introduction of the virus through a bite, or even a deep scratch or blood-on-blood contact. The end of days were like wildfire, and throughout the world, people sought security and sanctuary where none was to be had. Entire cities burned to the ground, but miraculously, some still survived. And for the next 25 years, life has struggled forward. The world now is a fractured place, but some seek to make civilization anew. Rag and bone merchants work their way across the Pin region, connecting together all the small scattered outposts and settlements across what was once known as the Midwest United States and beyond. One such group, known as the Ender's Line, uses railway tracks to connect everyone together, carrying food, water, medical supplies, and more. Information. Hope. They are a lifeline in a world that now belongs entirely to the dead. Lampwick, you stand naked in the dark hallway of the enormous, rotten stadium. You knew this place. At least you'd seen it on TV a few times. Three Rivers Stadium. It was home to the Pittsburgh Pirates. When the world was still whole before the fall, this place catered to the masses. It brought entertainment to those who needed it. These stadium seats were filled. Thousands upon thousands of people. Now, all of that is a distant memory. The concrete is broken, cracked and rotten. Rebarb and other steel juts out at strange angles. Everything is covered in a layer of soot and dirt. The desiccated corpses of those that had fallen so long ago, either naturally or otherwise, are strewn across the hallways. Broken dolls, toys that had been left behind by a forgetful child. These were people, yet they had no one to care for them. They were not buried, they were not given last rites, and whatever faith they may have had, it's long forgotten. And yet here, in the darkness, your robes lie on the floor, and you are standing nude in the midst of all of this. The sounds of screams and gunshots echo through the hallways. The arena itself rumbles. Generators, huge generators, are powering some small amount of electrical light out in the main thoroughfare. The field has been lit by enormous, ancient lamps. It is a miracle, a true feat of technology that you thought was long since possible. These people, some have referred to it as a cult, the Hand of Malachi, known to the masses as the Shepherds. They've built this spectacle. They have brought your allies and companions together here, in a place where they are being tested and challenged, and killed, murdered. You know this because you've seen it. You've seen so much recently. You've learned so much. You've experienced so much. But as you stood there, and the strange figure in front of you, Sister Hook, her sagging skin not her own, places her hand upon your chest, asking, "Show me your sin." Her chest close to yours as her hand touches you, almost as gentle as a lover might. But in that moment, you felt ill. Black bile rises, forces its way out of your mouth alongside a mass of squirming tentacles. Your stomach is churning, your eyes are blurry, and you smell everything around you. You feel that empty void, that pit in the center of your being. It churns and twists, and it is the hunger that you have come to know since Mother Hodge gave you her dark kiss. You've taken on an additional viral. I'm increasing my risk by 50. What would you like to do? What is your intention as this swarm of slick, wet, black bile-covered tentacles erupts from the core of your body?
I'm going to step back from it. And I'm going to look at Sister Hook. And after a moment, holding Sister Hook's gaze, I'm going to look down. And then I'm going to look right back up. And I'm going to say, "What more of me do you need to see?"
Sister Hook is crying. Tears. Her eyes well behind the sagging skin that she doesn't own. But she's smiling. You see the whites of her teeth. And it's strange. She seems to be overcome with joy. As she stands there next to you, her hand still on your chest. After you stepped away, she stepped forward again. You say your words, and they echo out. You don't recognize them, but she seems to understand you. Pride.
Pride. I'm going to take my hand and place it over hers. You were about to tell me something, sister.
You have shown me trust. I will now show you trust. Gather yourself and follow. She turns and waits for you to gather your robes.
I start to put my robes back on, but I'm going to take this moment and look around. I want to see if there were any other eyes on us. If there's any way to discern that, I'd like to try.
I'd like for you to make a search check. I am going to give you 3 black dice of difficulty on this roll. You should be, as always, rolling for 5s.
I
But-
am. Oh,
Let's have you
change that.
check to see if you notice anything. The difficulty is because your body is undergoing these pangs of hunger, and right now these tentacles are retreating back down your throat.
Ooh.
And you're feeling it, and it's a deeply uncomfortable feeling as they pull themselves back in. And you don't know how much control you really have over them.
Oh, so I am rolling 5s for the difficulty.
Yeah, you are.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. No way.
So
I'm too
you-
overwhelmed.
As I sort of, well, I didn't expect it to be that bad, but you have rolled 102, which means that you have 5 degrees of failure, and you most definitely are not noticing anything around you except
Nothing.
yourself and Sister Hook. It is dark, and everything that I've described you're aware of. Anything else, as if anyone has watched you from a distance, or if there's some other eye upon you, is unknown to you, Lampwick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you follow Sister Hook?
I do.
She leads you through the darkened corridors. You continue to hear the screams and gunshots, and you smell fire, gasoline, motor oil. Everything is so amplified, and the world almost vibrates, and these muted old colors seem to vibrate off the walls. And you look to a faded image of this green parrot that is a cartoon character that's standing next to what must have once been a concession stand. And it's barely present. It's been covered in blood and soot, and yet the colors vibrate and sing to you.
Huh. I approach that.
You get closer, and you fall into the green of the feathers of this cartoon on the wall. Your hand is on it before you know what you're doing, and you're standing there just staring at it, enraptured. And then you feel a hand on your shoulder.
It's her.
The world is new. Your eyes are new. Come, brother.
Let me see your face.
She reaches up and takes the skin and pulls it down. And you see the twisted skin peel away as she reveals to you her true face. Muscle and sinew, long since healed over, a twisted contortion of a face. Her teeth glaring at you in the darkness alongside the whites of her eyes. One eye is blue, the other is green. Everything else is barely recognizable as human to you.
I peer into each eye, and with my hand kind of near her face, I try to recall what that face might have once looked like. And then, after a moment, if she doesn't respond to any of that, or if I don't get anything from looking at her eyes, I'll just step forward
You try to imagine what Hook's eyes might tell you about the face that was once there. The structure of the bones. She was most likely gorgeous. All of the makings of what you might consider a supermodel stand before you. The height, the body structure, the bone placement. But without skin, the thing that she is showing you now, it's not a face to be worn in the open. But with you, she seems comfortable, and she does not seem to be ashamed. She wears her new face openly to you.
Then, while I'm close to her face, I will look into her eyes, and I just say to her, I see you, and you are beautiful.
Come with me, brother. Her hand intertwines with yours as she leads you, as if the both of you were on a holy pilgrimage through these halls of carnage together. Polly Pocket. You stand before a nightmare of your own. You've fought the dead, the dum-dums, the Z's, the Romeros. They go by so many names, and you've seen so many of them. You've never known a world without them. You have existed and lived only in the time after the fall. You are known as a wild one, a wild child, a wildling. You and some other survivors, young people that have banded together, have found your survival by living on the fringes of other civilizations, other small settlements. You take what you need. You're very good at it. You can scavenge. You know how to hunt. You live in harmony, more often than not, with this broken, dying world. Unlike the echoes, of which there are a few behind you. Remnants of a world that no longer exists. They are all older now, grasping onto the memory of a place that is long since dead. You and your companion Zippy, family in many ways, perhaps all of the family that is remaining to you, stand before the figure that has risen out of the footlocker, a military footlocker marked with words that you don't understand, but others in this space do. And there is a scream of horror from Achira as this figure pulls herself up and towards you, grasping at Zippy, just barely missing. You see the broken ragdoll figure of a woman, young like you, dressed so much like you, another wildling. The bright colors, the neon, the hair, the small trinkets, all of it, it fits. Each of you is so unique, but as a whole, it's easy to spot another one. Another wild one that has lived on the fringes their entire life. Many of you have taken the affectations of the 90s. Through VHS tape, you've learned of a world that seems so foreign. You've taken on some of the language and the mannerisms and the styles of dress and made them your own, as many of the echoes might tell you, in all the wrong ways. But you've made it your own and built a culture out of all of the remnants that were left behind. Another thing that you've all scavenged. The thing that stops you, the thing that scares you, the thing that eats away at you in this moment, Polly. You've never seen a Romero standing with such an enormous hole in their head. Half of this dead person's face is gone. There is a crater, and even in the flickering firelight of this place, the flashlight has been thrown upward, and you are shining onto this figure full force with the last flickering light of the flashlight that you took. To everyone else in the room, this was Juniper Song. The half of her face that is unmarred. You couldn't mistake it if you tried. Her eye is open and wide, filled with rage. What's left of her mouth is open. The colored specks of her hair are drenched in blood, but they are still there. And as she stands, she's lunging at these two wildlings that are with you. Rowan, you're on the other side of the room. Faith, you were guarding the door, and you only see this thing rise from this footlocker. Achira screams, drops to her knees. And goes silent. Her gun sitting on her lap. As her head falls forward. You see her in the firelight there. Camilla looks to you, Rowan. I need all of your intentions, please. We'll start with you, Polly. What do you do?
I hear Jira go silent, and something clicks in Polly's head that this is really up to her in this moment, and she takes her bat and swings as much as she doesn't understand for the part of this Romero's head that is exposed.
If you're going to attack with your bat, which is a weighted bat that you have acquired here within the stadium, you can use a blunt attack. I'm not going to add any dice of difficulty. You did not know this individual, so you will have no difficulty making this swing without any sort of any additional impairment. However, do you drop the flashlight?
I think I would, to get a better swing. Yeah.
All right. I would like for you to roll, or I'll roll for the flashlight. It breaks. Now you're left in the firelight as you hear glass cracking and the battery breaks open, and that white powder that was on the outside of the case sort of pours out onto the floor around you. However, you can make your swing. You have still enough light to be able to see your target, and you're rolling normally. I would ask that you roll a single blue die so that we can determine your speed. You already had the bat in your hand and you didn't put the flashlight away, so it's a very quick action. Faith, you're next. What would you like to do with your action?
I don't know this Romero. I don't think so. I see a chair, fall to her knees. I'm like, well, that's one more less of us that's gonna fight. And I pull out my pistol, and I'm gonna aim to shoot.
You step forward, you aim your pistol, and you shoot. I will have you make a pistol attack. You did not know this Romero either, so you have no penalties whatsoever. However, it is darker in here, and you have repositioned yourself, so I'm going to have you roll 2 blue dice for your speed. You're going to be a little slower than everybody else.
I remove 1 since I have this special pistol ability where I remove 1 speed dice.
All right, so you are going to be rolling a single speed die due to how well trained you are. It makes a lot of sense. Rowan, what are you doing with your intention?
Can Rowan see who it is from where she's at?
Yes.
Yeah, she's just gonna, shoot a lot.
All right. How are you shooting a lot? And I'll remind you, you have 2 young individuals standing right in front of your target.
She is going to wait for when Polly takes a break from swinging and kind of moves back a little bit out of the way, and then she is going to take aim and use her long gun.
I'm going to allow you to make a long gun roll, but not to fire. It's going to be to aim. So you're going to get the aiming special action, but you are holding that shot because you are waiting for whatever happens next. So go ahead and make your long gun. It is dark enough from the distance that you're at that I'm going to impose 1 single black die, given that you're doing this with firelight, now that the flashlight is broken. And I'm going to also impose 3 blue speed die due to drawing the gun, getting yourself set back up, because you didn't have a gun when you were in this cage, but they gave you a gun when they came back in from the armory that they had raided. I think it was Achira gave you one. I'm not sure. Someone handed you a rifle. This isn't your gun. You weren't prepared to use it. You're pulling it up and using it right now. It is, I believe I said, and yes, that's right, it's an AK-47. It is an automatic rifle.
I would like to use some competency to make that 1 success.
Okay, well, we're going to go through, more importantly, your speed is 18, which means you are definitely going last. The first person to act is Polly with a speed of 1. Before anything else happens, Polly, you swing your weighted bat. And unfortunately, you have 3 degrees of failure as you approach the dead form of Juniper Song. Would you like to spend competency to correct that, or would you like to let this go?
I'm gonna let it go.
You swing. 3 is a miss. It is not a catastrophic miss. However, I do have an ability here on this particular Romero that when someone misses a melee attack against them, I'm immediately able to attack back with a fairly powerful strike. I need you to make a dodge. And what happens is you swing, and June, with strangely fast reflexes, faster than any Romero you've faced, pulls back from the swing as a bone shard erupts from their wrist and forms a long, sharp dagger of bone. And it immediately is thrust towards you. With currently 4 degrees of success. Polly, how did you do on your dodge? You have a 1 degree of success or 1 degree of failure on your dodge. Would you like to spend competency now?
I'm going to spend 2 competency points to make that
All right.
success.
So by making that a single success, that means it removes one of the successes from your attacker, which is very good, because that means that she is unable to immediately headshot you, which would most likely result in your death. However, she does still hit you, and I'm going to need to roll damage. All right. It's not the best news for you. There are 2 dice that have exploded. You take a 5, a 4, a 1, a 5, and a 5.
Okay.
So what you do is you add up your threshold, and then I know that's going to come past your threshold, but the question is how many times is it coming past your threshold, Polly?
My threshold is 7, so twice past, correct?
Yes. So we have to remove enough dice so that you don't have a total of 7 left in your injuries. Or I'm sorry, yeah. So we're creating injuries. We don't want you to hold any damage beyond a 7. So which dice should we move here? We should move the 5s, most likely. And then that is going to leave...
If we remove the 5s, you said I had 2 5s, a 4, and a 1, correct?
Yeah, we've got it set up here. So we're removing all the 5s. Those are going into 1 sections. The 4 has to come over, and the 1 has to come over. So
fantastic.
That leaves you with, I believe, a 3 and a 2. Is that right?
Yes.
So you have a 3 and a 2. If you take 2 more damage, it's going to aggravate your wound again. You're stabbed. You feel a gush of warmth across your chest as you try to take 1 step backwards. This thing is not moving like the dead. You don't understand. You've seen some horrible things here. There was that twisted creature that was in the hallway, that multi-limbed old woman that was crawling around with multiple legs. You've seen horrifying things. You don't think this is one of the dead that just shuffles forward, waiting for you to kill it. There's intelligence behind that one dead eye. And looking now, you see a sort of malicious grin work its way across the half face of the figure that you're facing. You're staring directly into the open, gaping hole where you see skull and the internal organs pulsing with life and this black viscera that drips throughout. And this bone shard, this spike, is poking out of the back of your shirt. Rowan, Faith, Zippy immediately screams and starts to attack. Everyone sees Polly being lifted up off the ground with one arm as the figure steps out of this box. That's on 1. On 5, Faith, on 5, Faith, you have your pistol ready. Do you still fire, or would you like to switch your intention?
Yes. Is the sort of the direction I'm seeing them such that I could still get a clear shot, or is it too obscured now with Polly being attached to Juniper?
You probably do not have a very good shot. You have 1 degree of success on your pistol. You know that if you actually pull the trigger, you're most likely going to hit her as well. You might also hit this thing, but there's an equal, if not greater, chance that this is going to kill that wild one.
Instead, I'm gonna run forward to do basically a melee attack with my dagger. So slashing, piercing, slashing.
All right. You can do that. Roll 3 blue die, and we're going to put you back into the order here.
Okay.
As you drop all of this, I'm adding 3 dice of difficulty as you drop your gun down and start to change your action. You pull yourself forward. Rowan, the figure drops the wildling onto the ground. Polly, you hit the ground. And you're looking up at your attacker. You hold on to your bat, though. It's still grasped in your hands. And you see Zippy rush forward, trying to attack, desperately swinging at this thing. And the figure bats her down to the ground as well. You hear a cracking noise as she falls. Rowan, you see Faith rush in. Your goal here, Faith, was to push this thing away. Is that correct?
I was gonna slash at it actually, so I tried to do a slash move.
You step forward. You're now also in melee range, and you swing, and you have 2 degrees of failure, which means that you miss with your slash. Is there anything that you would like to do to alter that attack?
I'll spend 3 competency to make that 1 success.
Very well. You strike. This is with a citadel. Well, it's not a citadel sword, but it is with a sword. So you're going to have a 2 times modifier.
Cool.
Not a 3. It's not your sword. This is a machete from the military gear. They took everything but left you with the revolver, the bullet, and the combat knife. However, you've got an exploding dice as well, and you slash forward, and there's this large gash across the chest of this figure, and they seem surprised as they turn, whipping their head towards you. As they turn, Rowan and Polly, you see their back. In the tatters of their clothing, you see bare flesh on their back. But where their spine is, there's this horrible, undulating mass of flesh. Small limbs, arms, and legs twist together, and you see a small head lolling. And the head turns towards you, Rowan. And you see these watery blue dead eyes with a face that also looks like June's. The slash has done damage. I've tracked that. Rowan, you can make a shot, but it is risky. What would you like to do? You do have 2 degrees of failure on your long gun right now.
Yeah. I will fix that. How many successes would I need to shoot that thing on her back?
It would be the equivalent of a headshot. It's a small mass of flesh on the back of this figure. The head is abnormally large for the rest of the body, but it isn't an easy shot.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna spend enough. Is it 4 or 5 for a headshot?
You would have to put yourself at 5 degrees of success. And if you do that, you're going to spend 7 competency. Do you have 7 competency?
I do.
Now, typically, some game masters might rule that that's far too much competency to be allowed to be spent on any one roll. However, I'm going to allow it, but what is that going to leave you for the remainder of the game?
That leaves me with 2.
All right. with the slash and then leveling this automatic rifle. You take a breath. You remember your training, your years in the field, the military before all of this went to shit. You know your business when it comes to making shots like this. And you very easily fall back into the rhythms as you pull the trigger. A single shot. That lolling head looks still at you. Accusatory, full of hate. As it explodes. There's black bile that covers the back cinder block wall, and the figure falls limp. As the rest of the Romero screams and enters into a frenzy. The body thrusts itself forward as you watch this mass undulate more as the limbs begin to contort and bone spurs start jutting out from the Romero as it falls forward in front of Faith and Polly. Lampwick. Sister Hook stops at a large door. One of the faithful is standing here in robes similar to yours. The dead are here as well. 10 of them just stand in rows on either side of the hall. They don't move. They just stare blankly into space. The faithful in front of you is male-bodied, shaved head, dark skin, keen eyes, and they do not smile. As the two of you approach, they step aside. Sister Hook nods, bowing deeply.
I will do exactly as Sister Hook does.
On the door, there is a totem. A collection of bones, sticks, rocks, and feathers lashed together. You think the skull might be that of a coyote. Beneath it, a human skull. A number of bird bones hang from it. A circle is drawn in black bile. There are markings there. Sister Hook moves to the door, bows before the totem, and then opens it, standing at the threshold, ushering you in. It is dark. You see nothing beyond that, but you smell strange incense and death.
I'm going to follow. And as far as I know, are we heading in the direction that I last saw my companions? I saw them go into a door.
You are going deeper into the stadium.
Okay.
You know that your companions were moving away from the arena. They were moving away from the tattered field. It was covered in pits and spikes and the dead. They were ushered, corralled, herded into separate gates.
I'm going to move forward. Can I have some light in here, sister? I want to see with my new eyes.
You will see. Trust. She moves past you into the darkness, closing the door. You are now in full pitch black, and her hand interlaces with yours once more. And she leads you forward. Do you go?
I go.
Carefully and slowly, you begin moving downstairs.
I want to try to listen to see if I can hear other footsteps or anything else around me. Any whispers.
Make a spot listen check. No dice of difficulty, no speed die needed. You are headed down, and it's a significant number of flights of steps. There's a moisture in the air. You hear dripping water. It smells like river water. Lampwick, you have 4 degrees of success.
I rolled a 1.
That's as good as you possibly could have done.
That is indeed.
You, in fact, can see here. Slowly, your eyes begin to acclimate themselves to the dark, and it's far more expansive than such total blackness should allow you. You can hear something like a rhythm not far away. You realize it's the pulse of another person, but it is not Sister Hook. You do not hear Sister Hook's pulse, nor your own.
Huh. How far away is this? If I can tell.
Perhaps 20 feet?
In the direction that we're heading?
Yes. You step down to a landing and immediately into cold water, about knee deep. The two of you continue sloshing through this water as you walk in the darkness. Though you can see faint outlines of doorways that are open, this must have been some basement or maintenance area for this stadium. Perhaps part of the network of tunnels that help to facilitate the operation of this enormous place. The walls are concrete and bare. There is no decoration here. Everything is very stark. And I'm spending 50 risk.
Do I have any weapons or anything on me still? I think I do.
You do.
Okay, I'm going to grab a hold of my, I think I still have the Citadel sword. I don't know if they've taken my weapons from me. I'm just going to have that in my hand. And as we slosh forward, I'm letting Sister Hook be ahead. I'm letting her lead me. And I'm going to whisper to her, I trust you.
I
hope you trust
you as well.
Who's
Sister Hook
waiting?
stops, and you ask, who's waiting?
Yeah, who's waiting for us?
You wanted to know why they wanted your companion. Chira. Yes.
I do. But I also want to be safe. And I trust you.
Are you hungry?
Question. I know that I have not been hungry for a while. I also know that I'm pretty sure that's not the kind of hunger that she is inquiring about.
Correct.
I'm going to respond with squeezing her hand a little. I'm going to say, I'm tired. I'm just a little tired.
So be it. When you feel the hunger, I will provide for you. And you feel her hand on your face. Just gently caress your cheek. And then pull you forward into the dark past the pulse. And you hear a muffled as someone sloshes in the darkness. You hear a chair moving and ropes sort of pulling against something as you walk past one of these rooms.
I would like to, as soon as I hear that, I'm going to stop. And I'm going to whisper to her, can I see who's in there?
You may. And in the darkness, you see her form just sort of point to the door.
I approach.
A slight-looking, masculine-bodied individual is tied to a chair. They have a burlap sack over their head. They are fighting against their bonds, but they seem to be unable to break against them. There are 2 silent sentinels standing in here in the wall, up against the wall. You recognize the white, featureless masks that they wear. They are not moving.
And they're in this chamber with this individual that's tied up.
That is correct.
I approach the individual. I want to get a good look. I want to see if I know who this is. I don't take the sack off their face. I don't want them to see me, but I want to study what I can of them.
It's very dark. I will allow you to make a search check, but it's going to require you to roll 3 black dice of difficulty. Although you do seem to have acclimated your eyes to this total darkness, that's a lot of detail to be giving you, other than the fact that these are vaguely humanoid shapes.
And can I tell if they're gagged?
Yes, you can tell just by the sounds that they're making. They are gagged.
Okay. I don't think I will beat... Oh, okay.
1 degree of success.
Wow.
Remarkably, you're sort of desperately searching across the figure here. Do you want to do anything to increase this beyond 1 degree of success?
I'm looking to see if they're familiar, if I know them. I'm in particular, I want to know if this is Riggs.
It is certainly not Riggs. This person is about 200 pounds light for Riggs. You would be surprised if this person weighed more than 145 pounds soaking wet. They're probably about 5'4", before. You do recognize them, though.
I do.
Yes. Though you did not know the individual well, you recognize their boots.
Ooh.
They have a number of small beads that have been woven into the shoelaces. You remember doing your work with the Ender's line, traveling across the breadbasket to a number of farmers. One of them had boots just like this. Slight man with a family who was doing his best to scratch some sort of livelihood out of the dirt. They were smart, they were careful, they were very protective. And you were the one that was able to break through and get them involved with the Ender's line. No one else had had any luck. But after a day or two of negotiation, they began trading. They provided a lot of corn for a lot of people. His name was Jeremy. Another echo, though he was a child when everything fell. Jeremy grew up and followed in the only footsteps available for survival, sustainable survival. You became a farmer in those places. And his family and they worked their farm, and they did a good job. And those beads, you remember him telling you that his children wove them into his shoelaces so that he would never forget them. And wherever he walked, they would always be beside him.
Okay, I bend down and I gently put my hand, without taking off the sack, I touch his face and wait for the squirming to subside, and with my other hand I kind of gently reassure him, like kind of softly, almost in a parental way, kind of like rubbing his shoulder and his like back.
You can make a calm others check here, Luis, but I'm going to give you 3 black dice of difficulty because of the situation that both of you are in. I'll remind you there's standing water about 18 inches off of the floor.
No.
It's cold, wet, and miserable. You have 5 degrees of failure. You know that you can alter this if you want. It may not be a good use of your competency, but I'm not here to stop you. Certainly, he's fighting against you. He thinks that you're trying to manipulate him or to cause harm, and that this is clearly you mean no good. And so he's fighting against you. You feel his head like bat against your arm and actually knock your arm off of him.
I move back.
With your 5th degree of failure on this, the chair topples over and he plunges into the water.
I turn to Sister Hook and I say, best not waste a good meal. And I kind of gesture to the sentinels that are in there and ask them if they can help me pick him up. And I start to pick him up and right him.
You make that motion. I mean, before you do anything, they already move across the room with mechanical precision and pick the chair back up and put it right back where it was. He's soaking wet now, and the burlap is off of his head, but he can't see you.
I start to back up and I say to him, I call out his name, Jeremy.
Now he's quiet.
Jeremy, I remember the beads on your shoes. I remember how hard your family worked at the farm. I remember that you were a shining beacon of good in these dark times. And I believe in time others will see what's inside of you. And I believe in second chances. Try to stay calm. Today is not the day where you will die. And I turn, walk away, and as I pass by Sister Hook, I say, the meat I hunger for is named Riggs. And I will stay hungry until I feast on him.
So be it. She takes your hand and ushers you further down the hall. Polly, Faith, Rowan. Polly, you're badly injured. You're lying on the ground. Faith is standing above you now, fighting against this thing, but you've just witnessed this gunshot, this explosion of blood. You don't quite understand everything that's just happened, but then these bone shards start pressing themselves out of the flesh of this Romero, almost like the quills of a porcupine. Whatever intelligence was in the eyes of that half-face that you were looking into is now entirely gone. Just rage and fury. What is your intention?
I look back, and is Achira still just completely motionless?
Motionless.
How far is Achira from me?
Maybe 20 feet. On the other side of the bonfire, across the shattered wood of this gymnasium.
No, it's too far.
Zippy's lying close to you, trying to pull herself up.
Yeah, I think that at this moment, not knowing what this is, freaked the fuck out, Polly is just gonna grab Zippy and try to drag out of the way. As much as she can. She is badly injured.
Right. So you have immediately 3 black dice of difficulty. Make a lift pull, and I want you to roll 3 blue speed die. As you pull yourself injured, smearing blood across this floor as you go. Faith, what is your intention here?
I'm going to... I guess I don't... If I were to shoot it, I wouldn't know where to shoot because I'm not sure what's operating this thing anymore. I'm gonna try to push it back into the box.
Go ahead and make a lift pull.
Okay.
And I'm going to have you, because you're already engaged in combat, just roll a single black die of difficulty.
Okay.
And one blue speed die.
1.
Rowan, what are your intentions in this moment? You have hit your target.
If I see her trying to push the Romero back into the box, I will probably run up and help.
Okay, so your intention is actually going to take you effectively the entire round as you charge forward. You do see Achira on the ground as you pass by. Do you do anything while you run past?
I just kind of look at her real quick just to see what kind of state she's in, like if she's catatonic or if she's crying or if she wants to cut my head off.
She's repeating something. You can't quite hear it. It's like a list over and over and over again.
I will take note of that, but continue forward pretty fast to help Faith.
You charge just in that moment. Yeah, you run past and you keep going. All right, so Faith, you are going first, And that's good, because Polly, you would have had an attack coming towards either you or Zippy, but thankfully your opponent has just been tackled and is thrown backwards into this footlocker. Faith, with three degrees of success, you have pushed this thing, this abomination, you know now it's not a normal Romero, back into this box, and you have slammed it shut. However, the lock is lying on the floor, 10 feet away from you.
I'm trying to hold the top of it down. Little help! Someone grab that lock or anything to keep this thing shut.
I'm on the way.
Polly, you move across the floor. You see Zippy is holding their arm. You see bone protruding out of their flesh. It's penetrated their skin and is broken. There's a small pool of blood here, and Zippy looks to you. I'll be all right. This is Rockadoodle. We'll be okay.
Yeah, we're gonna take care of it. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah. We gotta get out of here.
Yeah. I
You
try
help-
to help Zippy to her feet, yeah.
Yeah, the two of you get to your feet, and that's pretty much all that you can do. You yourself are stumbling, and Zippy kind of catches you. And, you know, their arm is broken, but you have a hole in you.
Yeah.
You're fairly certain that the shock is wearing off, and you're starting to feel this wave of pain across your body, and it's getting a little hard to breathe.
Fuck. I'm gonna look forward to Faith and Rowan and be like, what the fuck is that thing?
I don't know, like a combined Romero? I am totally not clear.
Rowan, you make your way across. Do you grab the lock as Faith requested?
Yes, I do. And I also shout back to Polly, try and check over by Camilla and see if there's any bandages over there, if you can crawl over by her. She was on like a medical stretcher of some sort. Maybe there's something, even a sheet you can use to wrap some of your wounds. Quick.
All of you see that Camilla, now freed from the chain that was holding her in place, is now with Achira and has her arms around Achira, trying to help her up as Achira seems catatonic and keeps repeating something over and over again, muttering it under her breath.
I'll follow Rowan's instructions and make my way that way to look for anything to help us out. Me out.
You make your way over there. I'd like for you to make an endurance check.
Yeah.
And so you have one blue or black die of difficulty. No speed die is necessary. Rowan, you get the lock and you give it to Faith, and the two of you manage to lock this footlocker just as one of these bone spines pierces through the top of the box and is just an inch or two away from Faith's head.
Okay. Let's not just open random boxes anymore, huh? Maybe
Yeah,
open them.
Holy shit. Although, to be fair, it would appear that this one did have my name on it, so it's a bit of a mix.
Yeah, that one was for you. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but Polly, new girl, how are you doing over there? You dead?
Polly made it about 5 or 6 steps. Did you want to spend any competency here?
Yeah, I'll spend 2.
All right. So you spend 2 competency, and you manage to make it all the way through, but you're in intense pain. So the failure here is that your wounds are aggravated just ever so slightly, and you are any sort of calmness that you could have provided for yourself by staying in one place has been removed. You are certainly working very hard, and these wounds are getting agitated as you do so. There's a trail of blood that leads all the way across this stadium, or this internal gem, and it's both Polly's and Zippy's as the two of them start tearing apart this cot. There were no sheets on it. There was just a single mattress. You could cut the mattress apart and maybe try to find, and it's very thin. It's like a prison mattress. So you might be able to find something in that you could use, or you could maybe use some of the springs or wires on the metal cot, but otherwise nothing that will immediately help you.
Can I do a medicine check, or sorry, first aid to help?
Okay, so are you both leaving this box as you go back to the other side of the room?
Rowan, could you watch this thing? I don't know. I feel like Polly's gonna die, or maybe the other one's gonna die.
Yeah, I will stay here and watch this. You deal with that. Good call.
All right.
Faith, you move across, and you're going to make that roll. Go ahead and roll one single black die of difficulty, given the fact that you're doing this by firelight, and they're not near the fire now. So you're trying to assess their situation. And then while you're alone, Rowan, you see Achira and Camilla on the other side of this gymnasium, comforting one another, trying to pull themselves together. Everybody's pulling themselves back together. The box has stopped rumbling. There's the kicking and the fighting inside of it has gotten very quiet.
Are those fires still burning in here?
Yeah, they are.
I would like to drag this box over to one of the fires, very carefully and slowly and cautiously, and kind of make eyes towards Chira and them, and just kind of do that nod, it's got to be done, and drag her off.
We haven't forgotten, Rowan.
It's coming from inside the box. We're going to take a short break. Welcome back to Hunter's Entertainment on Twitch.tv. You are watching Outbreak, Rag and Bone. Welcome back. Lampwick. 18 inches of water below you sloshes past you as you push forward. It's cold, but just barely so. It's dull, distant. It doesn't feel the way it should. The air here doesn't feel the way it should. It's very, very empty in this place. You feel hollow, and that pit of hunger is slowly turning. You've walked away from an offered meal by the shepherds. You've left it behind. You can still smell him. But you made your choice. And now you and Sister Hook are walking further on your pilgrimage through these dark corridors underneath what is Three Rivers Stadium. Now, the proving grounds for so many of the factions of this entire region. You're staggered once again by the amount of resources that have been spent here, the effort that has been put into this. And you've seen more shepherds here than you've ever seen. They were scattered before. You might run across one or two missionaries, and those black-clad individuals always seem to be operating alone, or maybe in a group of 2 or 3. But the Three Rivers Stadium, so far you've seen at least 30. And they're not alone. Along with the strange, quiet dead, you know that there are abominations here as well. Those twisted individuals. Another door in the darkness resolves itself as Sister Hook opens it. And immediately you see the warm glow of candlelight. Steps, concrete, lead up onto a spacious concrete platform. It looks like a private parking lot of some sort. You can still see the faded old lines in the cracked floor all around you. In the deep distance of the darkness of this open space, there are a number of cars, rusted and ruined. But they've been cleared away from the central area of this place, and there now are hundreds of candles burning in a circle. You smell incense, strange, sickly sweet. Smells of spices. It's not unpleasant, but it's powerful. And something about this causes on the back of your neck to raise. In the center of this candlelit circle is a table. Simple wooden desk. And at it, and all across the floor, near it, are large sheets of paper. Boxes, old office filing boxes, scattered everywhere. Hanging from the concrete beams above you are more totems. You can't move through this space without bumping into them. Bones of animals and people. They clatter and click as the two of you move closer towards this desk, and it's then that you see the figure sitting there. She was too small at first. She looks up, wide-eyed, and then looks back down, continuing to scribble on the large sheet of paper in front of her. There are utensils here, pencils and other writing implements that she's using to etch a perfect recreation of the Citadel on paper. Every detail as if rendered by the hand of an architect. The child in front of you is familiar. She is the girl that you sent away, that you liberated from the walls of the Sentinels, or from the walls of the Citadel, when the Sentinels had ushered you into their ranks. You had secreted her away on a carriage, and now she's here.
Is she sitting in a chair at the desk?
She is sitting in a chair at the desk. Yes.
I'm going to slowly approach. And I'm going to go to the opposite end of the desk, if I can stand facing her. And I'm gonna kind of like crouch, lower myself, And I'm going to say to her, well, hello there. Do you remember me?
I remember who you were.
So you've seen that I've changed.
You had begun to change when we met.
Are you also changed?
I'm the same as I've always been.
And I'm going to look at the drawings as she's scribbling.
It's not just the Citadel. You're seeing a dozen communities that you know. Every wall, every house, every building, the layouts are exact.
You really are special, just as I thought when I first saw you. What is it that you're doing?
I see things, and then I draw them.
You mean these places that you're drawing, you have been here and you have seen with your own eyes and are sketching what you saw.
That's right.
Do you see other things?
I do.
Do you draw those things as well?
Sometimes.
Could you show me?
Is this about the sad woman?
It might be. I believe I've been brought here so that you can show me.
Is that really what you want to see?
That's one of the things that I want to see.
The chair slides against the concrete. Her bare feet hit the ground. She couldn't be more than 9 years old. She looks at you. Her face is clean now. She was dirty before. You thought she was older.
I did.
She holds herself up with a certain amount of maturity that no child her age is capable of. And you realize why that is. There is something special about this girl. Her eyes are far older and wiser than anything that you could imagine. She looks at you and weighs you, and then looks back at Sister Hook and starts walking towards the back side of this circle to a series of those banker boxes. The faithful won't be here for long. Not after this is done.
What do you mean by this?
We will leave.
Once this trial is done, the faithful will leave.
Why do you care about her?
I guess you maybe because we're all supposed to care about something. I guess. I'm not sure why. I cared about you. I have no idea why then, but I knew that you needed to be somewhere safer than where you were.
I was where I needed to be. And now I'm where I need to be now.
I understand that. I understand that now, but then I wanted to help you without having that understanding. I wanted to help you because I cared about your safety. I don't even know if I remember your name. Did you ever even tell me your name?
You didn't ask.
I didn't. What can I call you?
Adelaide.
Natalie?
You're Adelaide.
Adelaide.
And you want to be called Lampwick.
I do. I didn't like the name that I was given. So I chose my own.
That is good.
I would like to learn about the sad woman.
She's meandering through this box, but you can see that she keeps casting her eyes towards you. Sister Hook is standing on the outside of the circle of candles.
Is Sister Hook looking at us?
She's watching this, yes.
Do you know Sister Hook?
Her eyes, pale and strange, work their way over to Sister Hook. Yes, I know her well.
I believe I've gotten to know her pretty well in a short time as well.
She pulls a black-bound sketchbook from one of these boxes and starts walking towards you with it, holding it as if it were some ancient, holy text. She's prim and proper, and every step is with purpose. Again, far too old for her age. She presents the book to you, Lampwick.
I take it, but as I take it from her, I put my hand on hers. Adelaide, you've seen a lot. I can tell you are nothing like what you might seem to others. I want to learn more about the faithful, but I want to learn from you. Just as you said, you are wherever you are supposed to be. I believe that I was supposed to meet you back then when I did, and right here, right now. Will you please walk me through what you understand about who you call the sad woman, but also about anything that can help me understand why this world is the way that it is?
Don't you see your new eyes? Don't you see your prayers have been answered?
I turn to look at Sister Hook. And I open the book to the first page.
The book itself is blank. We have given you a daughter.
Yeah. I look at Sister Hook and I look right back.
I will teach you.
Were you this young when I first saw you? Did you look like this? Or is this new?
Do you not like this age?
I would like for you to be how you decide.
This is how I see myself through your eyes.
Then if you're content with this, then this will do. I pick her up. And I bring her in and I hug her.
It's cold and emotionless, but she wraps her arms around you just like a daughter would and rests her head against your shoulder. I need you to make a morale check.
Whew. A morale check.
I've got you. This is composure.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to roll it, you can. In fact, these dice don't seem to like any of you, so you should probably roll it and roll 20.
I will be happy to do that. Oh, I'm
4 degrees of failure.
No, I can't let that happen. I will pump 5 competency into that and make it a success.
You manage to hold on. It's not despair, but this wound that you feel, Lampwick. This wound that has set you on your current path when the child that you used during the fall to protect yourself and to ingratiate yourself with other communities, the child, the daughter that you lost, that died, that you used as a prop, only to find later that you loved when it was too late. This wound opens like stitches breaking and begins gushing as these emotions and these thoughts start washing through you. You hang on with every ounce of your being, but you are crying. Tears are rolling down your face as this small child is in your arms, and you know it's not her, but it would be the age about where she would be.
I keep her in my arms and I start like stroking her hair as she's laying on my shoulder, and I walk over to Sister Hook and I look at her and I say, "This is my sin. This is what I did. And then I just take her back to the chair at the desk, and I rock her in my arms as I sing like a lullaby in the shepherd song.
Prophet knows, Daddy. The prophet has always known. You're home now. Shh, Daddy. Don't be scared. We're family now.
And family protects family.
Sister Hope takes the book off the ground where you had dropped it and puts it back on the desk in front of you and flips it to the middle. And there you see a very old, faded manila folder marked by the pre-fall CDC, Center for Disease Control. The file opens, and you see Achira's name.
I start reading it.
Meanwhile, Rowan, you were attempting to burn the box, and Faith, you were attempting to aid the wildlings. However, your first aid roll was 1 degree of failure, is that correct?
Yeah, I'll use 2 competency to make that 1 degree of success.
Okay, so 1 degree of success, even though it's dark, they are both seriously injured, and it's going to take time to put them right. If you had medical supplies, this would be a lot easier.
As Faith comes over and does whatever she can, Polly, who is just uncharacteristically kind of down, just quietly says, "Thanks."
Sure, can't have there be more fodder for the Romero to eat. You'll be okay, both of you. Just hang tight for a bit.
What's wrong with her? And she looks over to Achira.
I don't know. Saw something she didn't like, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, it looks like Camilla's trying to help her out, but that's kind of the blind leading the blind over there. You guys just rest. Rowan, what the hell are you doing over there, Rowan?
Dragging a footlocker, Rowan has stopped. Rowan, you're the only one who heard this voice. What would you like to do?
It came from inside the box, you said?
Yes, as far as you can tell.
Rowan leans down to the box and goes, "If you think that I've done something wrong, then clearly you don't know shit." And she picks up the box and keeps dragging it.
You going somewhere with that?
I'm gonna burn the remains so that nothing can attack us again.
Okay. In here? In this room? Were you going outside?
There is a giant fire over here, but I mean, we could do it outside if we can get out. Then we gotta haul this whole thing out there.
Okay, just toss it in.
Yeah. And she will drag it in, and she'll stand by to see to see if like everything catches, or if like as the plastic starts to melt, there's going to be a problem again. So she's going to
Well,
walk.
it's metal and wood, and yeah, there's a lot going on with this military footlocker, and it is burning, but it is burning kind of like it's heating up, and you don't hear anything.
She'll start walking back to the group then if it's been a few minutes.
Yeah. It hasn't collapsed or anything like that, but it's burning on this fire.
Can I insight check the fire?
Well, the fire doesn't have much to be gleaned from it, but I will allow you to make a spot listen check.
All right.
With 4 degrees of failure, you have 2 competency remaining.
Yeah, nah, everything checks out. Rowan's gonna walk back to the group.
Yep. So you rejoin the group. All of you are together. Zippy is quiet, and Achira and Camilla have returned. Camilla is fully engaged in trying to keep Achira calm.
Is there anything keeping us in this room?
I don't think she's doing well enough to move, Camilla tells you, and I don't think you are either. We need to find some medical supplies, otherwise I don't think you're going to make it.
Okay.
I mean, am I right? They both look like shit.
Yeah. All right. I guess, I don't know, Rowan and I can split up and look for supplies. Has this whole room already been thoroughly searched before Juniper popped out?
Well, you're new to the room, so that would be a conversation to have with
Okay.
Rowan.
Have we checked this whole room for supplies and everything, or was the first thing you opened that box?
That was the first thing we opened besides the cage and the locks that we were in, and then immediately there were dead things trying to kill us. So no, we haven't really had the opportunity. That's probably something we should search, although I don't think medical supplies are going to be in this room. I feel like they would not put bandages in the same room they're trying to kill us in.
Well, maybe we can jerry-rig something. I'd like to do a search, or I could use my survival points to try to find stuff nearby.
How many survival points do you have?
I have 225. I've been saving them.
If you want medical supplies and you want the search to be easy, I need 200. If you would like to risk it, I need 100, and I will make it more challenging.
I will use 200. But that's not good for later for us, I guess.
You begin searching just the rooms outside of this. If you recall, there was a hallway, there's a hallway that is filled with the dead, and a door that you had helped to get the others through. However, that door has been blocked as there was something outside of it. When you go back to the double doors that you had gone to, you don't see anything. But in a quick search, you find that there are other doors along that hallway. And if you make your way through there, eventually you find what was once some sort of clinic for sports medicine. There are tables, there are chairs. Everything has been very heavily picked through. That said, there are some boxes in the far back of bandages and other things that you could potentially use to help in this situation.
Copy that. Give me 1 second here.
We'll go to Lampwick for now. Lampwick. Achira, in her early life, was in the system. Her and her brother were passed along a number of foster homes. These reports, all of them marked as confidential, were supposedly about research into the measles vaccination. However, Achira had been earmarked. Put further into testing. Placed with a very specific foster home so that she could be observed. These papers, you don't know how this is legal, how this was ever legal. There's a lot of vagaries. But as far as you understand it, the United States government was watching her. And while you can't tell anything that would specifically explain why this was, there is one thing. She has AB-Rh negative blood. Does Lampwick have any medical training that you would like to try to roll so that I can explain to you a little more about what that would mean?
I think I think any medical training that Lampwick would have had was if he was scamming a doctor and had to pose as one at any point.
Let's have you just make a first aid check. And if you roll exceptionally well, I'll tell you more for Lampwick to know. You may already know what it means, but for the purposes of your character, let's make that determination now.
Great.
No dice of difficulty, just straight first aid. One degree of failure. Do you have any competency left, and would you like to spend it?
I have one competency point left, and I am willing to spend it if it can get me anything.
It would get you a wash. So, unless you're willing. There is one communal point in the pool from our friends in the ether if you choose to use it. That will preclude the others from being able to use it. But if you wish to, that would bring you into a success, which would give you some information.
I'm gonna use it. I want to know.
It's the rarest blood type. In fact, it's excessively rare.
Huh. I'm gonna keep reading through whatever's there, and I'm gonna flip through the book to see if there were any other files hiding or anything else hiding in any of the other pages.
There are drawings of Achira's face. Perfectly rendered. Almost photographic in the charcoal sketching. That's all that's in the book, just her face. And she's usually very sad looking. Some of these images, they're recent. The file itself really just gives you more information about her early life, about foster homes that she and her brother Blaine were passed through. That's really all the information that you have here in front of you.
I turn to Adelaide, who I'm still holding while I look through stuff.
She has not moved.
What can you tell me about Achira, Adelaide? What more can you tell? I know what her blood type means. But why was the government doing this?
They weren't.
Then who?
The Prophet.
The Prophet has chosen Achira.
Prophet has always had eyes on Achira.
What does the Prophet believe, know to be Achira's purpose?
Do you love her?
Yes. I do.
And if you had to choose between your family here and her, who would you choose? You feel her hand against your beard.
I would choose what's best for you.
Does Lampwick mean that?
Yeah.
She gets off your lap. She walks over to another box. You don't know if it's dejection, but there's a little distance here now in the room. And Sister Hook is just staring at you. She still has her real face exposed. The candlelight flickers in this garage, this concrete shell. These bones are hanging everywhere. They're too high up for her, so when she moves, the bones don't clatter. These totems. Did you think that the Prophet rose up just when the world ended? Is that what you thought, Father?
I don't know what I used to think, but I'm certain the Prophet was here for long before the world became what it is.
Yes. You will learn. And then we will go together. To their shining city. Do you know what this is? She holds out a white cased VHS tape.
I know what that is. Can I watch what's on it? Will you watch it with me?
I do not have the machine. But you've seen it, yes?
I approach so I can take a look at the tape.
It's got those dashes and dots written across the side of it. The white label. This looks just like one of the tapes that the Enders line has been bootlegging and passing through their safe houses.
And I have watched one or more of them.
You've watched a number of them.
I know what this is, and I have watched a number of them. I'm not certain if I've watched this one. Can I look at it more? And I extend my hand.
She places it into your hand.
I'll need to find the machine to be able to watch this. And I start to put it in whatever pack I have.
Yeah, you have a little side satchel, leather side satchel. You put it in there. And do you take the book as well?
Oh, yeah. And the file.
You take both of those and put them into your pack. Daddy, don't be long. Hurry back. I'll be here, waiting.
I want you to come with me.
I'm not allowed.
Why not?
It's dangerous, Daddy. You don't want me to get hurt, do you?
No, I don't. But we will keep each other safe. And you're strong.
The time will come, and you will take me to their city as my father. And together we will spread the word. She takes your hand and presses it up against her forehead.
Do I feel anything? Is it...
Those emotions are still roiling. You don't physically feel anything. You have forgotten your hunger, though.
Oh, I gently kiss her forehead, and I get definitely down at her level, and I look towards Sister Hook and back to Adelaide, and I say to her, please don't make me believe yet. Please just let me stay here for a moment with you.
She embraces you, wraps her little arms around your neck, and sings you a lullaby, singing the same song that you just sang to her. She hums it at first, and then holds you as you lie on the ground. The flicker of the candles, Sister Hook watches on. We'll come back to you. You return with the supplies that you found. The medical supplies. Rowan, what are you doing in this time? You were watching that chest burn, that footlocker. It's still there, but it's in the flames.
I'm keeping my eye on it, but I'm also keeping an eye on everybody else to make sure that they're okay until fate returns.
Mm-hmm. I'm spending 50 risk. The fire continues to burn until you watch that lock, red hot, break. And in one single motion, the box shatters and a burning, charred figure rolls out. There is no hair or clothing, just a charred, animated corpse with something strange across its back and these spines of bone everywhere. The half head rises up and you just see skull and sinew blackened. I need all of your intentions.
Does Achira still look out of it?
Yes.
I would like to take Achira's gun and shoot from where I'm sitting, because I can't really move right now.
A very good choice. You take the gun. I won't have you make any rolls. You just need to give me... Actually, I'll roll it for you. I need 1 blue die for your speed. You're operating on 5. Faith, what are you doing?
I've come in with just a handful of supplies, feeling like I've done a really good job, but then I see the box explode and on fire Romero show up, so that's not great. I drop everything just where I am, and I grab my pistol to shoot also.
All right, Rowan, what's your intention? You're going to roll your pistol, Faith. No dice of difficulty. 2 blue speed die, please.
Okay, down to 1.
Yeah, you have the skill.
Rowan's going to move towards it. She is going to try and get as close to it as she can and try to stay out of the way of their bullets, so like off to the side, but she's going to try and get a close-up shot at it.
Okay, so you're clocking your target, you're moving across with military precision, and you're preparing yourself for another long gun shot, is that correct? You can roll your long gun and add 2 blue speed die for the initiative, and we'll see where you land. Both Rowan and Faith, despite their differences, work with precision as a member and potentially former member of the Citadel. The two of you have spent much of Faith's life working together. There's a silent camaraderie in your movements here, a collaboration that has been forged through years of training, even if the two of you are not a part of the same faction any longer. Both of you move and fire at the exact same time, riddling the burning corpse with lead. It jolts and shocks backwards as it drops to the ground, back into the fire. Its chest thrusts outward. And it stops moving, burning on the pyre. However, it's a lot of gunfire and a lot of screaming. I'm taking 50 risk back.
As it stills on the ground. Okay, so that one was a lot tougher.
Yeah, some of them are worse than others, seems to be. We're going to have to move quick, I think, guys. We're going to have to find a way out of here and get out of this location. We've blown up the spot, so to speak.
Yep.
I can carry Achira, Camilla says, like ushering Achira to her feet. You have 2 other wounded individuals. How are you getting them out of here?
Am I able to do a further medicine check with the supplies I have, or
if you want to take the time to do it here, you can, but that's a choice.
I'm scared to make a decision.
Let me help you.
Yeah.
You know that if they move any significant distance that they can take additional damage.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be risking further grievous wounds by having them transport without any medical attention. However, if you take the time here and now, it could be very dangerous for all of you.
I can make it.
Yeah, we can make it. It's fine. We just gotta go. We can't stay here. This like the old lady said, this place is blown up.
Right, the old lady. Fine. Let's go. We'll take a break when we can. All right, everyone up. I could take point. So I want to leave first and start to lead the way out.
All right. So you're in a formation?
Yes.
All right. Rowan, what are you taking the rear of the formation, or are you moving somewhere else?
I will take the rear of the formation, and I think with the amount of injured parties, I think I would have to carry somebody, too.
All right. It seems like Zippy actually can move. They just have a broken arm. So it's probably going to be Polly Pocket that you're going to need to support. And they're bleeding badly. Like, they're being real brave. I mean, for what you might say about the wild ones, these kids are soldiers too, in their own way.
Rowan will, well, what does she still have left on her? Because they took all of her gear from her and she's been on fire. So, about would you say that she has, like, anything on her that she could, like, rip off and kind of, like, press to the wound and apply pressure?
Yeah, if you wanna, like, you've got a leather jacket, so you can't rip that. But if you want to rip part of your shirt, you could use it as a bandage to sort of sponge up some of the blood and try to keep her from bleeding so heavily.
Yeah, she's gonna do that, and she's just gonna, like, hold her right around the side and keep the pressure on where the wound is as she's, like, walking with her gun in her other hand.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you make a roll for that. I'm just going to say that you do assist. It's going to slow all of you down. Faith, I need you to make a navigation check, because as you move through, you see a number of gates in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And you pass by one marked Gate D. It's still, like, it looks like it's been actively cleaned. Like, this area has been cleaned so that you can read what's on the wall. And there aren't nearly as many corpses here. And there are large metal gates that have been sealed. They're like security gates. You've seen these before in other places that you've scavenged at. However, you have 5 degrees of success on your navigation.
Yes, I rolled a 5. It's wild.
You have already kind of determined how all of the stadium works. It is an enormous circle. The best thing for you to do is actually not continue forward, but probably to move back. You have a feeling that you're going to have better luck with the earlier gates, because these are further down. These are deeper into the stadium, away from where you entered. You know that the other gates are closed that you entered into, so you're going to have to make a choice here. Either you head back around the circle, back towards the way that you originally came from, or you press forward into the unknown.
I guess with that information, I would say we should head back.
All right. Is that what all of you wish to do? Are you going to follow Faith's? Okay. You begin tracking back. All of you can make spot listen checks. Faith, you have 3 degrees of success. Polly, you have 1 degree of success. And Rowan, you have 1 degree of failure. Which makes sense, you're in the back of the formation. Polly, you see words written on the wall. You have no idea what it means. Faith, there are fresh words written on the wall near gate A, which is open. It is an arrow. And in gore, viscera, next to a torn apart Romero, you see the words, "The only way out is up."
Well, I guess we follow the sign. We head out through gate A. I guess it's up.
Just keep your eyes peeled for anything.
Yeah.
The screams, the gunshots, all of it has gotten quiet. Every once in a while you hear something, a single shot or a shout, but it's not chaotic anymore. This place has grown quiet. It's still very, very dark. Do you have any light with you?
I just have that Zippo I've been carrying around. I'm not sure how depleted it is, though.
The Zippo is out.
Rowan is a smoker, so it's up to you, Nox, if they left her lighter on her or not when they left her in that cage.
I'm gonna say that you have your lighter in your jacket pocket. They didn't take that away. It was too insignificant. So you do have a lighter. Are you going to use it here for illumination?
She'll holler up. Faith, let me know if you need light in any, like, important areas if we come to a crossroads or something, and I'll flick the lighter on and try and conserve what we have left. Sound good? Or do you just want it? I can toss it up to you.
It's a concrete box. You're effectively in pitch blackness at this point. Like, once you move past this area, once you get out of this area and all of the ambient light from the stadium stops leaking into this space, because it's already dark and shadowy here, but as soon as you start walking down these corridors for these gates, it becomes pitch black.
Just hand me the lighter.
Rowan will throw it up.
I use that, and on the way, if I see any like empty, clear bottles or plastic bottles, anything like that, that would help to diffract the light by putting it over it, I would like to search for that on the way. Otherwise, I'm just using this lighter.
There are dusty, desiccated corpses everywhere. And there's trash kind of piled up around them. If you wish to dig through one of these piles, you might find something.
No, I'm not. I'm just gonna use this lighter. I don't want to touch any of this stuff anymore. So yeah, I continue on through gate A.
Zippy grabs your arm. Hold on. Can I see that? And asks for the lighter.
As long as you don't throw it away, sure.
She takes the lighter and walks over to a corpse and rips the arm off of it, wraps the shirt around the arm, and lights it on fire.
Yeah.
Hands it to you.
Thinking, Zippy.
Yeah, just like when we go scavenging, sometimes you have to make do.
Yep.
That is incredibly inventive and disgusting, but it works. Thank you, Zippy.
You'll still be rolling depletion dice for this torch, but we'll have a little more light for you as you move forward. All right. I need all of you, if you're going through gate A that's open with the arrow?
Yes.
All right, you start moving through gate A. And it's very quiet. And it's dark, but now you have a torch that is giving you some light. This hallway looks much like the others. You see these shapes and figures on the wall faded. The concrete is broken and cracked. There are dead plants everywhere that have overtaken portions of this area, but it seems like the light has all been blocked out. And there are old rusted steel shutters that have been closed on certain areas. And you see these large locks on them. You're not sure where they lead, but certainly they would be a lot of work to try to remove. You're being funneled down this hallway, and both Rowan and Faith are acutely aware of the tactics that one might employ in this sort of situation. Being military trained, this could easily be a bottleneck to try and get individuals to walk exactly where they want you to and march into whatever they have laid out for you. Least of which could be some form of landmine or trap of some sort. So both of you have a very strong sense that moving forward cautiously would be the only way to proceed.
All right, starting to rethink this a little bit.
You
can go forward.
Vibes? I'm getting trap vibes.
Yeah, we either move forward and try to avoid the traps, or we turn around and go the way the arrow was not pointing. The arrow was painted in blood, though, so...
I think it's a 50-50 shot either way, to be honest with you.
I feel like we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't.
How would they know to tell us if they were back there writing in blood?
I don't know. This whole thing doesn't make any sense. Well...
Tread lightly. Just
Yeah.
keep your eyes out on the floor, look for booby traps, trip wires, anything that looks oddly suspicious other than, all the dead bodies in the room.
Yep, will do.
Good one.
You are moving forward, slowly, cautiously. I need each of you to make spot listen checks as you move into this corridor. I'm going to give you only one black die of difficulty. Polly, I'm sorry, that's 5 degrees of failure.
Yeah.
Do you have any competency remaining to negate some of that?
Have 1 point remaining, and I will use it.
There's a communal point as well you can use.
If you take the communal point as well, then you won't have a catastrophic result.
Okay.
It will still be bad, but it won't be catastrophic.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. So the catastrophic result is going to be passed. However, I'm going to have you make an endurance check now, as this is going to play out as a weakness, I feel. You feel faint, and as you're moving through, you start to become very lightheaded. So you're not able to focus on anything around you. You're losing a lot of blood despite everything that Rowan is doing to keep you alive.
Am I adding any dice of difficulty to that, or just a straight endurance
Just
check?
a straight endurance check.
Okay.
We'll see how the dice treat you. That is 5 degrees of failure on your endurance, and you are out of competency.
Mm-hmm.
Rowan. Polly begins choking, and a large gout of blood shoots out in front of her as you think one of her lungs is filling with blood. There's a rattle in her chest. You're familiar with it. If you don't do something now, she's probably going to die.
Faith, we gotta stop for a second. And she'll lay Polly down. We gotta work on her. As a sound I've heard a couple of times and she'll pull Faith in close so Polly can't hear. I think her lungs are filling with blood.
All right, I don't know what I can do, but I'll try.
You're gonna be fine, Polly. We're gonna fix you.
Zippy is holding your hand with her good hand, Polly, and she's like, every once in a while she'll stop and then brush your hair away from your face as you are choking on your own blood, as you feel as if you're drowning. And it's terrifying because you're surrounded by the dead in this dark place. There's the flicker of the fire, these mostly strangers that are around you. Thankfully, Zippy is here, but you feel alone.
I just try to squeeze your hand back.
Zippy hands you some of the medical supplies that you purchased, Faith. Do whatever you need to. Just save her.
I will do my best.
I'd like for you to make a first aid check.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be the first of a couple of rolls, but let's start with the first aid check and see how you do. Everybody has stopped. Polly's making some noise. It's sort of a rattling, breathing cough hack that can't be stopped. Faith, you have 1 degree of success, which is just enough. Do you want to do anything about that? Do you want to add to it, or do you just want to keep it at 1?
I will keep it there for now in case these next ones don't go so good.
So, you know what you have to do. You just don't know if you can do it. You're going to need to insert some sort of either tubing or pipe into her chest and drain the blood.
Huh.
You've done it once before on someone else. It's very tricky and sort of a 50-50.
Do I have anything resembling that in the equipment that I have?
You don't, but you're going through everything that you've got. You think you could do it with a plastic drinking straw.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd have to find one and make sure that it was sanitized.
Okay. If y'all could help me, we're looking for any kind of plastic drinking straw or something that looks like a little tube.
Like that, or a pen, anything like that?
Yeah.
Anything like that would work.
Yeah.
And Rowan will start looking around very gently, just in case any of these dead bodies are not dead and just sleeping.
All right. Everybody can make search checks. If you're searching gently, I'd like for you to add 2 black dice of difficulty. If you're just searching, you can just make the roll, but I need to know what you're doing. Zippy is definitely just searching.
I'm searching gently.
All right.
Oh.
Faith has 4 degrees of success. Rowan? You have 5 degrees of failure on your search. That's going to play out as, yes, something grabs onto your boot as you're moving bodies. Do you have any competency remaining?
I do. I have 2 competencies left.
If you do that, you're going to be reducing it from a catastrophic. There is a Romero here. However, since it's not catastrophic, this thing does not have the strength to pull itself up off the ground. It looks like its flesh is actually fused to the other bodies around it. And it's reached up and grabbed your boot feebly, but it has caused a great deal of noise as things shuffle and break around it.
Rowan will jump back really quickly and then very lightly but quickly get back to the group and alert them of what's happening.
Faith, you have found a plastic straw, and you have found a bottle of alcohol. Unbroken. It's about half drank. There's looks like vodka. It's in a pile that was what once was some sort of bar or concession stand, and you found everything that you need. So you come back, and you begin your work. Obviously, Polly isn't able to assist in the search, but I do need Polly to make another endurance check while that is happening, just to see if things have gotten worse. Polly, you have 1 degree of success, and your situation has not worsened. You have managed to maintain your head and maintain your breath as you feel this immense lethargic wave wash over you. It's hard to keep your eyes open. What would you all like to do?
I'm going to attempt a surgery.
And you don't have anything beyond first aid, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Because if you,
What
Faith,
do you
yeah,
mean?
like advanced medicine, you don't have that.
Oh,
It's just first aid, correct? Okay, so we're going to have you make a first aid check. I'm going to add 1 black die of difficulty to this, but no more. And we're going to hope for the best here.
Okay.
Michelle, I want to be clear. With 2 degrees of failure, you may very well kill Polly Pocket.
Unless I have 2 competency points still that I was saving. And we got 1 more from chat, so that's 1 degree of success. Thank you, chat.
1 degree of success is enough to prevent her death. However, is that all of your competency?
Unless we're in the woods. Yes.
You are not in the woods.
Yeah.
You work quickly, you use your knife, and you insert the sanitized straw. And for a moment, you're uncertain of what will happen. Polly, you're on the ground. Zippy is holding your hand tightly. I know this is gonna hurt, but we've been through worse. We built a home together, all of us. We gotta get back to it.
She just tries to nod.
They can't break our family up like this. It's not gonna work. We're gonna do this together. And she holds you as Faith cuts you with her knife and inserts this straw, and Zippy keeps your eyes away from what's happening, but you feel it, and it hurts, and you bite back a scream. There's blood everywhere, Faith. Rowan, you hear something down the hall. And that's where we're going to end our session tonight.